fyjomolly 非洲的茉莉 subscribe well done.
Next, Trudy. Okay. Even though you haven't been to China, but like there's so much going on, so many Chinese and so reports about China in Kenya, I'm sure. So you have at least expectations for China when you go to China. We're already the opinions of China and so on. What's in your mind? Or even your expectations to what do you want to see when you go to China? Anything?
No, before she speaks, if you go to Trudy's room, she has the Forbidden City in her room.
Seriously, you have a picture of that?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Since I was young, I've only wanted to go to China. I've just
Oh my god, that's my hometown. I need to show you I need to show you around.
Really?
Like that's on me. That part of the dream is on me. I have to show you there.
So yeah, I've always wanted to go to China. So, cause I've always seen Chinese movies. Then you see so many things are made in China, phones, clothes.
Yeah.
So it always makes me wonder what it is like, you know. So when I think of China, going to China, I get excited to see the infrastructure and everything.
Yeah.
But the thing that I'm scared about is I hear some Chinese are racist.
Yeah.
So that's what
You
scares
heard
me.
from Wodemaya.
Send me.
So that is what is scary. Because I've never experienced racism, maybe because I've lived in Africa all my life.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think China is one of the coolest places in the world, and I would like to go and see for myself.
Wow. But you're such a beautiful girl. Nobody will do that on you. Seriously.
Oh no.
Seriously, all my beautiful African girlfriends, they never experience anything bad in China.
No. Maybe they are not ready to tell you.
Maybe, but I feel like they always have a good time.
Yeah, everybody have a good time in China. You know, there's some stories that I cannot say over here. But no matter how positive or no matter how friendly you are to Chinese people, one way or the other you're experiencing the other side of Chinese people.
Yeah, there are some really nasty.
I mean, I don't know what to say. Like you've been in an elevator with someone, and all of a sudden he just started insulting you because you're black. It doesn't make sense. Like so.
It's happened to you, that?
No, even my friends, you know,
But you know what? That's racism that exists everywhere.
But
Even I go to places, I
Africa.
experience that. Not in Africa, though. But I go to places. I'm not going to mention the country, though. I also experience racism because of my skin color, because of my identity. So that's kind of universal.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Problem of human being racism. That's what we need to tackle down in the future with our generation.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I mean, Chinese people are friendly, super friendly, but some are super racist, and that's the only thing I feel like Chinese people need to be more open. You know, the world is moving fast pace, and they have to also move in a fast pace. Even though that's why I would say that it's gonna be so hard for Chinese people to be the superpower of the world. You know why? Because we have the technology in China that even so many Chinese, I would say that half of Chinese people don't know how to use the technology that they have in the country. Like you go to a train station, they've given you a way to get your ticket from an automatic machine, and you see people going into
the counter.
I don't wonder. I mean, life in China is so easy. Like China is trying to make life easy for everyone, but the people don't know how to cope with the technology. That's what I see. Like I can sit in my room here, buy my clothes, buy my shoes, buy my everything, buy my phone, order my laptop, order things from the factory. I mean, not from a shop, a factory, for them to bring it to my house. But this is the situation that you get it, and a Chinese person will ask you, how did you manage to do this?
How what?
How did you manage to do this? Like some Chinese people don't know that they even have access to all this.
But especially you, because lots of the stuff like electronic stuff, they're in Chinese. They don't expect you to read, to understand.
Yeah, but you know the Chinese people don't know that they have all these things. Like I've been in a situation that we help a Chinese person to get a ticket from the automatic machine.
Oh, wow.
We show Chinese person how to book tickets
You are
online.
better than them.
I was like, what? I mean, life in, oh my God, like, the reason why I love China, everything is like around you.
Convenient,
Yeah.
Like, I get out of my room, like this, and then I feel like I can't walk from my room to the roadside. I'll pick a bicycle, which is like 1 yuan. Ride the bicycle from there to the train station. Go and pick the train. So, and then when I get out of the train, I pick the same bicycle and ride to school. And I park it there. The next person should come and use it. You see how comfortable it is. So that's why, like, I mean, like, it's a country that I've learned so much from. And, yeah, you know, everything is there. Everything. You know, I mean, I feel like the world even has to go to China and learn certain things. Because so many things are happening in China that when you tell people that you know, people know that it doesn't snow in China. People thought it doesn't snow.
Doesn't what?
It doesn't snow in China. Snow.
Yeah.
When it snows, and you take a photo and people are like, it's snowing in China?
They don't know it snows in China.
Wow.
Oh, wow. They think China is like tropical.
I'm telling you,
I
like,
didn't know it's not in China.
What?
And before him, I didn't know. Before he told me, I didn't know. I
Oh.
thought it's only in England and America.
Oh, okay. Wow.
not just a lot of people.
But it's snowing even here in South Africa.
Yeah.
It
What?
snows here.
You can
No
ski.
way.
You can ski.
Yeah, you
in
can
South
ski
Africa.
here. You can,
Yeah.
Snows
you can ski in the
You
Drakensberg.
can ski. Like you
I'll
have
show
to
you
have
pictures in the
very heavy
Drakensberg.
snow to ski.
The mountains are ice. You can
So,
ski.
like, does it snow everywhere or specifically?
No, it's snowing in
It
Kenya.
snows.
You know, that been feeling-
Kenya, it makes
Was it like-
news. It's been like three times.
Was it not like 2-3 years ago it was snowing here in Joburg and in Pretoria? It was snowing. Yeah, it did.
Okay.
And even this place, is if you go to Tanzania, the mountain, what's the name?
Kilimanjaro.
Kilimanjaro.
Snowing everywhere.
Yeah.
You mean the Kenyan one or the?
Hey, it's not for Kenya, it's for Tanzania.
It's for Kenya.
Yeah.
Molly, you have anything else to say? Ask.
Yeah. Next.
You're saying like negative stuff about China.
Well, anything you like to say. Like, yeah, now we are on the negative, I think.
That means you don't have any negative thing to say.
I'm trying to think of something negative.
Negativity about China shouldn't be something you have to think.
Okay, like for me, I think the only negative thing of China is like people in business. You know what I'm saying? I think the Chinese need to find a way of when they're negotiating in Africa and they're negotiating like these mega deals with African governments and things like that. Yeah, we were talking yesterday. It's like I feel that they you know when you're making a deal in business, obviously they want to make a profit. You know what I'm saying? But then we're talking about the size of the profits. I think when the profit reaches a point where it's mineral resources and then it's money on top of that and it's worth much more than the job at hand, then that's when I feel like, you know what I'm saying, there needs to be some kind of like regulatory thing on how the deal is being signed. Because for example, if in Zambia we got a lot of Chinese, like if you look at the tenders, 3/4 of them are done by Chinese in Zambia. If you go on the website for road construction, for example, 3/4 of the companies there, if I won't lie, I'll say maybe even 90% is Chinese names of the companies that are in charge of a lot of construction. But when it comes down to the payments and what deals are being signed there, I think there needs to be some kind of there's like no transparency. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because some of them are making crazy amounts of money, which is not a problem, but then it comes at the price of where our governments now, for example, there's a lot of corruption, so the money doesn't trickle down to where it's supposed to go. So you find, okay, a beautiful road has been built, okay, fine, it was paid for and everything, fine, But then now people just across that beautiful road are still in poverty. They're still living in huts and things like that. So it doesn't make sense for me to sign a deal where I'm building a bridge which crosses across a dam, and then across the dam is just a village, and across the other dam is just a village. There are no skyscrapers and no buildings. There's no nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but the cost it costed for them to build that bridge even leaves the country in debt. Like what happened in Tanzania, they built a bridge. If I'm not mistaken, if it's Tanzania, yes, they built a bridge, and the government got into debt for paying for that bridge, because the price that they were, I don't know how many hundreds of millions of dollars they were charged just to build that bridge, and the government couldn't pay that amount of money.
But for any big projects, especially like infrastructure projects, there will always be a bidding. Like different companies from different nationals bid for that project.
But in Zambia now, 90% of the bidders are Chinese.
Yeah, like why there aren't other nationalities to bid there?
That's the problem, because the thing is...
You're out of the camera, sorry.
Oh, sorry. The thing is, if you've got people bidding and it's 10 Chinese companies against 1 or 2 Zambian companies, obviously they're going to pick the Chinese because the Chinese have better equipment, more experience, and it's all coming down to experience. So anywhere in Africa, when a Chinese person, even in the national airport in Zambia was they built by the Chinese. It's being built by the Chinese. I've almost finished it. And the thing is, they have more experience. On their CV, they're going to show we've built more than 10 airports. You know what I'm saying? Even much bigger than this. So it's coming down to the experience. They will definitely get the deal. But from what I've seen, it's that the African government and the company, the Chinese company that are signing those deals, there's a lot of stuff that's going on that's not transparent. And in a way, it's putting Chinese people in a bad light. You know what I'm saying? It's putting the innocent Chinese people and the good Chinese people in a bad light, because certain things can tarnish the whole image of the country just from one deal. So I'm not trying to generalize and say, oh, Chinese people coming to... There are very hard-working Chinese people who have established themselves in Africa, running shops and things. They are working hard. You know, then they're not even making big profits, things like that. They're just, they're bringing commodities that most people wouldn't even be able to afford. You know what I'm saying? So it's creating competition, which is good. Like if I want to buy a tripod and I go and get it from a Chinese shop, I'm going to get it much cheaper than I go to some other shop in town where it will be twice the price. So that's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? But now when it comes to construction and the much bigger deals, which are like, the investment deals, that's where I'm saying there's like, I don't know, I don't know, there's just no transparency. And Africa has been...
I agree with that. There needs to be more transparency on big scale projects, especially involved with the governments and nationals. And there has to be transparency. But I'm just saying one problem is that all these big projects in China, even in China, Chinese do Chinese business. There is no transparency to the folks. So I'm just wondering, how can they be transparent in Africa? I mean, from your government side, like African local government side, they can make it transparent. At least, I think.
They can, because I mean the whole tender process and things like that, that's a form of transparency. But now when it comes to the issue of the payments, that's the part that we don't really know whether the project has been paid for already. We don't really know whether money was put down before the contract was paid in order for them to get that same deal. There's a lot of stuff that's going on behind closed doors. And then again, the thing is, I was reading this economics forum thing which talked about Africa as being a plate. Africa, the whole continent of Africa, you're finding that it's like a plate for all these investors to come and eat from. That's the way it has been looked at. Because Africa,
they don't even
the
eat,
cover of
they don't eat with spoon.
Exactly.
They don't eat with spoon, they eat with fork.
Yes. So what is happening is that they're saying Africa's resources, if we're not careful and we don't have regulatory measures and things like that being put in place for some of these deals, they're forecasting that maybe in the next, I don't know how many years, the resources in Africa will be drained.
Yeah.
And then Africa will have nothing to offer anymore, and it will be left. So there has to be transparency and a true win-win situation.
Yeah.
Where
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even like in China, like the Chinese people demand transparency from the government, from the like infrastructure, business, like from everything basically. That's like we have the same request from the government. I think that's at least what we have in common. Especially in Africa right now, because Africa is sacrificing lots of resources on this like very corrupted deals. But this is not sustainable.
To be honest, there's a guy, I won't mention names, but there's a Chinese guy here in Joburg. That guy, he's into the metal, scrap metal industry. So there's a guy somewhere in Joburg North who sells the scrap metal, and this guy from China approached him and said, listen, I need so many 100,000 metric tons a month going to China. And the owner of the scrap metal, the South African guy, said, look, like, I mean, how do I collect such an amount of scrap metal, you know, to be sending? And the guy gave him the whole list. He wants zinc, he wants copper, so many tons, he wants whatever. And he said, listen, the Chinese guy said, listen, if you can't give me everything, there are people from Zimbabwe driving with trucks here to South Africa, so I'm still collecting from many sources. They're just one of the sources. So if you can't meet my demand, I'm sorry. I just need to have so many tons every month going to China. And the whole thing about it is that now, you see, that kind of trade, this is what I'm talking about. You see, there's no regulation, proper regulatory things to trade in. You just need an export license. And at the same time, you find so much metal is just going out. You know what I'm saying? To the point where it's not being regulated. You know what I'm saying? So these guys here in South Africa, that's why you find on news there's a lot of cable theft. You find that the train, for example, like the local trains, they can't move from point A to point B because these guys just went and they cut that 99% pure copper. They just cut it because the same guy in Joburg North has told his suppliers, like, listen, bring me so much copper, bring me so much oil, because he's got this pressure to supply this Chinese guy. You understand? That's what I'm saying.
So can I say, like, it's actually the regulation in Africa from different African governments in general. They need to set up clear regulation. It's not just trading with China, with other countries as well. Stop like companies, multinational companies or companies from outside of Africa coming to Africa and taking these corrupted deals and exploiting the resources.
If we look at it from another light, and I was to come to China, for example, and then I came into China and I started giving big demands to be supplied, for example, let's say certain products in China, and I give my suppliers such crazy demands, like I need so many 1,000 tons of this stuff, you know what I'm saying? And like I'm saying, I'm quite sure most of the factories in China, whatever, they've got a limit. They'll actually tell you to say, not, this is only so much of what we can produce, you know what I'm saying? Because we have our people maybe working overnight, or we can only produce so much. You know what I'm saying?
They don't sign the deal. If they can't do that, they don't sign the deal. The question is why people still signing the deal even though they don't have the thing.
Now here they're signing the deals.
Yeah, why do they sign it? So you see the money doesn't go. It's corruption. Or it's like under table deals. Because if they don't have the resource, they're still signing the deal. Who gets the money eventually?
Because that cable theft is a serious thing here in South Africa right now. Even the railways in SA Prasa and what, they're having issues. They're even having trains derailing because of that. Because these guys are cutting 99% pure copper.
But you see, it's not because China offering the deals, right? It's because people who sign the deals, who know they don't have the resource. So they applying this criminal ways
he's going to use anyone
to meet the demand,
to steal,
to make the money, to get the money from China, from the Chinese traders, right? So there's like a problem from both sides.
Yeah.
But eventually what we demand is transparency. We need to know how the money goes, where it goes to, and where the money come from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So cameraman, cinematographer, boss.
So, what the positive or the negative?
Anything in your mind. There's no rules. Anything you want to say.
Okay. Okay. As I said earlier,
Yeah.
like I've never been to China.
Yeah.
So, like I can't talk more like about China, like wodemaya, because he has enough experience. But for me, what I can say is, when I go to China, I promise I'll come back with a Chinese wife because Chinese girls are so beautiful. Chinese girls are so beautiful. So also also like when I was in Kenya, like if you meet a Chinese person, like they're so like Chinese, like there are different people, like there are different types of people. Understand? Like there are Chinese people, like if you find them, like if they know you like can speak Chinese, like you become so good friends. They invite you for to eat dinner and all that, But what I don't like about some Chinese is that some people are not that open. Yeah, like some people they tend to keep some things for themselves. Understand? Like they're not that open. Like they're not that open to other cultures and.
Yeah.
Like for example, like you can find some Chinese people in Kenya, like they have lived there, but if you ask them if you have any local friend, they say they don't have.
But it's the same situation in China.
Yes,
Like an African who doesn't have even one Chinese friend.
But how come you have Chinese friends?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. They have open-minded people.
Yeah.
And they have people who. So it's exactly like similar because I have a friend who doesn't have even a single Chinese friend. Who doesn't even, the only word he knows is ni hao.
But what, like, how are the experience they get from like that? Those type of friends?
There are people who don't like Chinese people. I mean, I've met
they go to China, but they don't
like you. They don't like it's basically the same. There are people in Africa. They're in Africa because they are forced to come here or they are forced to come and do this. They just mingle with their own people. They're not here because they wanna help you or this. They just don't like you, but they are forced to come in here. And the people like that, when you meet them, no matter how good your Chinese is, they will never even say hi to you.
Yeah.
That's what I.
Because like in Kenya, like I've met two types of Chinese.
Yeah.
There are those Chinese, like if you speak to them Chinese, they will be like so happy.
Yeah.
There were, even there's another one who was he was so happy to take a photograph with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you'll find others, even if you say ni hao or how you like.
Yeah.
They will. Some of them they will not even answer you. They'll just pass.
Yeah.
The thing maybe you want to steal from there,
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like if you're a Chinese out there and you're watching this video and you're open-minded, try to like educate your friends. If you have a friend like who is not open-minded to different cultures, try to educate them.
Yeah.
And teach them.
Yeah. Like the Chinese, especially like a Chinese abroad. Now we're just talking about Chinese in Africa. You need to be more open to the local culture. You need to integrate with, have friends to learn the culture. The local culture is very important because we have huge population of Chinese people currently in Africa. We can't keep everything within ourselves. We need to integrate.
Stop going to Chinatown all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And then go to Western town and go find
this way. So the local people in Africa can also welcome you because if you make friends with them, they will like you and thus they will welcome you. So it will make your life easier and happier living in Africa.
Thank you.
Right?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes tomorrow you'll never know where you'll be. Because maybe you're my Chinese neighbor. Maybe tomorrow you'll have trouble and you'll need my assistance. But if you don't talk to me or ignore me, you understand? So like if you go to a different place, a different country, try to have some local friends, try to even know the language.
Yeah.
Because like you find some foreigners, not only Chinese, even white people, when they come here, they've stayed here for even 50 years, but they can't even say a single word. Local language. They can't even speak the local language.
Yeah.
So if you come, try the same way I've learned your language,
Yeah.
Same way you can learn my language.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's how we understand each other. If you understand my culture, I understand your culture.
Yeah.
Like we live in a
Peacefully together.
peacefully.
Exactly.
And,
So can you wrap it up, Wodemaya?
I want to say that no matter your color, being black, white, brown, yellow, we are all one people. We have the same blood that runs through us. So I mean, put that how do you call it, segregation aside. See a brother from a different part of the world as a brother. Just like, you know, we live in one world.
Yeah.
You know, because through my videos I've been able to connect so many people, and I found that no, the world is actually a small place. You know, I met Molly in Beijing, and then through Molly I met another friend of Molly, and then now Molly is here through me, and Molly met through me.
I introduced you my friends in South Africa, even,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So this is how it is. It's all about getting to know each other, move with the flow, and live happily. That's all I can say. You go out there, you go learn something new, mingle yourself with the people, and make sure you explore. That's it.
See, like, yes, Wodemaya has such a positive experience in China. It's all because you see what he did. He's putting effort to learn the culture, to integrate with the people. That's how other people start treating him. So people around you will be your mirror. How you behave yourself, they will reflect on you.
Thank you.
So just be nice and be understandable and open-minded.
Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Ayamaya.
Peace out! Peace out!
We are all one family.
Yes, we're all one.
Woman does see each other. Brooklyn, it's on Niger. Goja Bujonia.